Hello and welcome to our episode 13 of Holy Shiitake, the podcast where we talk about Japanese culture and living in Japan as a foreigner. This is Jenny's part, and the perception of living in Japan as someone who lives outside of there. I've never been there, to be honest. That's me. Yeah. If you are listening to us on Google Play, iTunes, or Spotify, don't hesitate to give us a follow. And if you are watching us on YouTube, subscribe, share, ring the bell, all that good stuff. You can also follow us on social media everywhere. I will have the links in the description. But today, as always, I am joined by Jenny. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Florent. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. And spring has finally arrived in Hokkaido. I am so happy about that.
It's good. Like spring is slowly coming here. Like I don't know, it feels like it's kind of late here.
Uh-huh.
The only downside of it is that it's nice out and you have a lot of flowers, but we kind of have to stay home.
I know what you mean, and
Right?
that's what we're going to talk about today.
Exactly. Did you see that? That was like a great segue. I'm so good at it. So good.
Okay, but before we start with our episode, let's talk about some things to taste.
Yes. For those who have been following us for a while, you know that usually we like starting each show by having Jenny try something that she either discovered that is new, unusual, or maybe unknown to other parts of the world. So, what are you trying today?
Okay, so we know that in Japan, ramen is a very common thing, but how about trying ramen as chips?
Chips ramen? Okay,
Yeah,
so is it
I
like
would say ramen chips.
okay, so is it like ramen chips? So it's not ramen flavored chips.
I would say ramen flavored chips because it's the actual ramen noodles.
Okay, all right. That's that sounds interesting. I haven't seen that one before.
Well, it's also my first time to see this in Japan. So we call it baby star ramen.
Baby star ramen, okay.
So this is actually instant ramen turned into chips. So it's deep fried and put some chicken flavoring, basically because this is chicken flavor.
All right.
And there are actually two types of these. The first one is the separated ramen, fried ramen noodles.
Okay.
And the second version is the one that looks like a cartoon. I don't know how to explain that. But this is also chicken flavored.
All right. Like it looks like the first one kind of looks like the actual noodles that you would have in ramen, and the second one looks like more like flat noodles.
Exactly.
Is that
flat noodles, maybe flat but curly, you know.
Right, okay.
I don't know how to explain it basically. Okay, so I just the first one, the one with the separated noodles, and from looking inside, right? Can you see the inside?
Yeah. Wait, you just opened that, right?
Yeah, I just did.
It looks like it's barely half full.
Yeah, probably because of the air inside. Because if I'm going to put this in half, this is like.
I guess. It feels like a ripoff, though.
Yeah, there's a lot actually.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to take out some tiny bits. So this is what it looks like.
Okay.
Can you see it?
We can see it. Yep.
All right, and this is what it looks like.
It's all twisty.
And it's all twisty. And then I'm going to taste it now. Crunchy. I like it.
Okay.
So basically, it's just the raw instant ramen noodles that you get from a common cup, but it's filled with chicken flavorings. All right, this is quite addictive. This is supposedly for kids, basically. But
and anything that's for kids can be enjoyed by adults too.
I know it's addictive, and I like it. So I usually eat it like a load, and I just finish it in what, 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. This is also why I don't eat any kinds of chips, because as soon, like, if I open it, that's it. It's gone.
Now let's try the second version, the one that looks like a cartoon. I don't know how to explain that in podcast form.
The cartoon one.
So this is the flat version.
All right.
A little bit curly. It tastes the same, only that it's easier to eat. Right. You know what I mean?
It has more the shape and texture of like a regular chips, right?
Yeah, and it's not separated like this one, so it doesn't scatter around. It's not messy. So, yeah. And one bag costs around 90 yen. That's around 90 cents, I think.
Okay, that's less than $1. That's pretty good.
It's not bad, right?
That's pretty good. It's a nice snack, actually.
It is a nice snack. I enjoy eating it when I'm watching Netflix.
Right.
Or when I'm reading manga or studying Japanese. It's especially good when you're studying Japanese because, you know, learning a foreign language is very difficult. So you don't think much while studying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, and that's it for our ramen chips taste test.
The ramen chips. That's interesting. I should look around to see if we have those here. I'd be curious to try that.
Yeah, you can. Or you can just buy instant ramen and then put some flavoring and you're done.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen last episode how I do with instant ramen. I'm not very good with it, but
yeah,
you know.
Oh.
I'd probably end up.
Have you found?
Yep.
Have you found any better tasting instant ramen lately?
I have not tried.
Oh, okay. You should try one next time.
I should. No, I went grocery shopping last week and I actually looked at it because in those times, you know, like I try to stock up a little better because I'm usually not very good with that. And since we're trying to not go outside as much right now because of the pandemic going on.
I know.
I was looking at them. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should get a few. Maybe I'll have better luck. And then I just chickened out and I was like, yeah, nah.
Now that we're talking about staying at home or being stuck at home, let's try to share some ideas what we can do for today's episode.
Yeah, so today episode 13, stuck at home, all the things you can do with the Japanese flavor. Let's put it that way. Right?
Exactly.
It's a hard time for a lot of us, for a lot of people, because you know, we have to stay at home basically. At least it's really not recommended to go outside to kind of stop the spread of the virus. But that also means that we're spending a lot more time at home, which means we might end up a little bored. And I don't know about you, but I have felt that a little bit. And even with all the stuff that I do on the side, aside from my usual day job, those who know me know that I do some streaming, I do some gaming, I do some like review stuff, I do a lot of art, I do drawing stuff. With even with all those things, I have times when I'm like, you know what? I'm bored. I don't know what to do. I don't feel like doing that. So today we're gonna kind of like look at a few things that we can do to just keep busy, keep yourself busy, or keep your kids busy.
Exactly.
Because for the parents out there, they know the pain of having the kids with you 24/7 when usually they would spend half the day in school. So yeah. So what are we talking about? What's the first one?
All right. So the first one is learn a foreign language.
Learn a foreign language. That's a good one to start with. I mean, no, it goes with the theme. So obviously, we're gonna focus on Japanese for this one.
Exactly.
But the idea is also basically good for any kind of language that you might be interested in, right?
Exactly. You can learn any language that you want, but for the meantime, we're focusing on Japanese.
Right.
And one Japanese module I'm going to recommend you is actually for free, and this is we call JF, Japanese e-learning Minato. Right. And this is online. And as I mentioned earlier, it's free. It's it's a self-study course or a tutor support course. And you can find this online. The website is https://minato-jf.jp.
Yes,
right?
I will have links to that website in the description for those watching us on YouTube. Those listening to the audio versions, just give us a shout on social media and you'll find it there.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we have the screen for that, for the website?
I do. I'm actually on the website right now. I'm looking at it. And this is really cool. So first of all, it allows you to learn a new language. But the fact that it's an actual full-sized course for free, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, and it takes a lot of your time. I mean, positively.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how dedicated you are. But if learning Japanese in that instance is really something that you're really interested in, really passionate about, that's a good way to start with it, right? And you have like several levels of that, right? Is that how it works?
Exactly. So there are two versions for the self-study course. We got the Katsudo and Rikai.
Right.
So for the
here and the Rikai here.
Yeah. For the self-study course, it is for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start whenever you want, but because it's a self-study, I think there's also a timeline when you continue and when you end the course. But if you are under tutor support course, right, I think you need a specific schedule for you to start because, you're going to interact with the teacher.
Right.
But the good thing about this also is it's also free of charge.
Which is really great. That's one of the cool things about the internet we have right now is that you can learn so much and do so much for free or very little money compared to going to school for it. I went when I was young, so 250 years ago. I actually went to Japanese school. I went there for 2 years to learn Japanese. Now I basically forgot everything because I have not practiced since then. So basically I just forgot everything. But like I paid quite a bit of money to go to that school to learn Japanese, right? All the teachers were actually Japanese from Japan. So that was really cool.
Wow, that's great.
Like, the whole experience was really nice. We had a classroom. Like it was a big university. But I had to pay money for it. Whereas today, if for some reason I wanted to go back to Japanese, kind of like, brush up on what I already know and learn more, like I can do that for free, right? It's great. I like it.
Exactly. Now the course outline that we have in this website is you can learn the basic one, which is hiragana and katakana.
Right.
And then for the grammar and the rest of the basic learning of the language, there is a level for each course. So each level undergoes 6 months. So from level 1 or A1, that's 6 months. Okay. Level 2, A2, which is another 6 months, and level 3 is another 6 months. So that's like
a year and a half.
More than a year. Exactly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's a good way for you to motivate yourself to learn a new language and to, if you go to the tutor support course, you have someone to talk to.
That's right.
That's
right.
And the good thing about this free course is it doesn't just come in English. You can also learn in Spanish.
Spanish, also Italian.
Yeah, Italian, Chinese.
Do they have Korean?
Indonesian. Hold on, I'm still scrolling. So Indonesian and then Vietnamese, Thai.
Okay.
And French. Wow, they have it in French too.
I should do the French course. I don't know how to speak French anymore. For those,
Wow.
for those watching us or listening to us who don't know, I actually am French. I come from France. Moved to Canada a long time ago, but yeah, I don't get to speak French very often.
Oh, yeah, I guess you
know.
should try the French course. And I would recommend you try the tutor support course. So you at least get to talk to someone.
Right, right. I should do that. That's pretty funny.
Okay. Not just that. You don't just get a chance to learn online. You can also learn through YouTube. With this channel called Puni Puni Japan.
Puni Puni Japan. So let me see. Yeah, I have it here actually too. I really like this channel. Okay, I didn't know about it, and obviously I found out about it when we were preparing the episode, and you were showing me that. I think it's great. Like, you know,
yeah,
it looks cute. It looks engaging. It's the YouTube channel has like, it's very short videos. Like, you don't spend like, you know, half an hour trying to learn how to say one word. Like, it's really, and it's fun.
Yeah, Puni Puni Japan. From the word Puni Puni, it means fluffy. Puni Puni, like that.
Oh, that's what it means. Okay.
Yeah. So the channel itself is like a Japanese version of Sesame Street, right?
Okay.
So it's like a kindergarten show, but not really, because anyone can learn Japanese through this channel.
Right.
It's just like a Sesame Street version. So learners trying to learn Japanese would find it easier to comprehend or to learn from it. Because, you know, if you try to watch it with a professional version, or probably I don't know, something for professionals, it's probably more pressuring and a little boring as well. Now, what I like about this is the characters, because they're so cute.
Yeah.
Now, that's the reason why the characters are fluffy, because it's Puni Puni Japan. It's fluffy, Puni Puni.
That's funny. I really like the characters, because when you look on the banner, it's like those little thingies, but with the icon for the channel, it's like it's one of those thingies, but old. Like, it has like a white mustache and it has a crown and stuff. That's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
So each lesson has just about 5 minutes or a 2-minute video. But the good thing about that is that they have an actual website where you get to learn the deeper part of the lesson from YouTube. Right?
Yeah.
And when you actually go to the website, there's also a link of the videos.
Yeah.
And there are also chances for you to practice reading your Japanese or speaking your Japanese through several kinds of media.
Right.
Well, one of them is reading manga in Japanese, so they have platforms for that. And you can also learn through Studio Ghibli picture books. So really many options for you to learn. Yeah. And these are all for free. That's the best thing about that.
That's really cool.
But if you want to,
I like also that it's divided in category on the side. No, there's like grammar, just like typical phrases, vocabulary, and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
I agree with you. And what I like about this page is that it's on your own pace. Like, if you're a slow learner, you can learn whenever you want. You can go back to the level that you wanted to review.
Right.
Or if you're having a hard time on this unit or this grammar version, you can always go back. And I like it. And then, in the actual website, you can learn about Japanese grammar, Japanese phrases, Japanese vocabulary.
Yeah.
And you can also practice writing your diary by clicking on the Puni Puni Diary. They also have a Puni Puni Diary.
That's funny.
Yeah. Now, the last one to learn Japanese is an app called Wanikani.
Wanikani. So I don't have an image for that. But it's something.
Okay.
It's something you can find on. So it's an app, you said, right? So it's like you can get that on your phone or tablet. Is it both for Android and iPhone?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first few levels are free, and then when you want to go to the advanced and intermediate levels, then you can, you can pay just a little bit.
All right. Okay. That's a good way to do it. I know, like especially in those times, and you just have to kind of like look at social media and what people post on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. You can tell a lot of people are bored, and a lot of people spend a lot of time on their phone, more than they would usually.
Exactly.
Right, and yeah, so that would be a good way to kind of like spend your time there. Since you're gonna be on your phone for 3 hours anyway, may as well learn something with it, right?
Exactly. Now, what I like about learning through Wanikani is that you can download it on Google or on Apple.
Right.
And then, on my way to work, right here in Sapporo, I take the train and then I take the bus. Now, when I commute by bus, it takes me around 15 to 20 minutes. And while waiting in the bus, I just turn on my app. Yeah. And then I learn my new kanji, and then I review my kanji from Wanikani. And it's really good because I can apply it here in Japan, because whenever I learn a new kanji, or whenever I review the old kanji that I've learned previously, and then whenever I see billboards that have heavy kanji, I get surprised by myself, because I'm like, hey, I can read this. Oh, it means like this. Oh, I know that.
That's nice. It's like very little but very practical things that really make you progress. When you're learning something, which is kind of like something that you don't necessarily get when you're in school for something, right? If you're in school to learn language, to learn Japanese, whatever language, a lot of the time you're just sitting in class and learning from your teacher and from the papers and the books and stuff like that, but you don't have like a real life applications a lot of the time.
Exactly.
Whereas those little things, especially for someone like you who lives in Japan right now and has been learning the language for several years now and still learning the language, like that really gives you that chance of it just in just a few seconds being like, okay, let me check that out. Boom! Oh, I actually know these things, and you also can feel the sense of progression, right? Because you're living there, and it's like, oh, dude, I actually saw that thing like on the app or whatever thing I was using, and I can understand now. And for some people, it might be more effective to learn that way than it would be just sitting in the classroom, I think, right?
Yeah, and I have to admit, I'm a very slow learner.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always essential to practice learning a foreign language with somebody who's native in that language. But,
it really is, yeah.
Right? But sometimes it's hard to make that possible. But with applications like these, where you can learn through your own pace, I think it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for the second one that we can do while we are stuck at home.
What can we do when we're stuck at home?
Okay, because of the occurring pandemic, why don't we use or make our own mask?
Right. We can make our own mask. So, like, side note, here in North America, I don't think that's something that you've experienced in Japan, because the wearing a mask in Japan and a lot of countries in Asia is kind of like a regular thing, a normal thing, right?
You can say that,
right? Like I don't know too much about Japan, but like when I look at Korea, for instance, South Korea, for instance, a lot of people wear masks like regularly all the time, not necessarily to protect themselves against viruses or like diseases or stuff like that, but it's more about the environment that's over there. Like in South Korea, they wear the mask to protect themselves against what they call fine dust that's coming from China. That's coming from China.
Oh.
All right. So like it's kind of like to filter that thing. It doesn't really filter viruses and stuff so much. But people are more used to wearing those things. Here in the West, in North America especially, you see some Asian people wearing those masks just because they're used to it, right? But most people don't, because it's not really something that we do here, and it's become really common now because of the pandemic.
Exactly.
And there was a whole debate going on until about last week, where things got a bit more settled, where you had on one side some health professionals who were saying wearing a mask doesn't do anything, doesn't protect you from anything, and then you had another side, professionals or even just regular people who were like, well, that's better than nothing, right? It's supposed to protect you. That's what it's here for. And there was a whole debate going on where to kind of find out if wearing a mask was something to do or not. And it also goes with the fact that a lot of the health professionals, hospitals and stuff like that are kind of running low in masks for the stock, right? Because that type of mask has to be worn in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just wear a mask and just keep it on all day. At which point it just doesn't do anything anymore. But like that's beside the point. And then there was this debate of people were like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own masks. And some people were like, that's not gonna do anything if you make your own mask out of cloth or whatever. And then some people were like, well, it's better than nothing. And finally, some health professionals and institutions, and I think even the World Health Organization came out saying, guys, if you want to make your own masks, do it, because even though it's not 100% obviously safety, it's still better. It's still better than nothing. Even if like it will protect you, but it also will protect other people, right? In case
exactly,
because like the main thing of a mask that some people might not realize is that okay, it protects you from incoming things, but it also protects others, right? Because if you're sick, or even if you're not, like you won't like project stuff on other people. That's kind of the role of a mask. So in light of that, you're gonna talk to us about making your own mask at home, which is really cool, and you can even get your kids involved with it.
Yeah, okay. So before I show my mask, I would like to explain what you have mentioned about Asians wearing masks, like as if it's a natural day-to-day thing. Well, basically,
I wouldn't say natural day-to-day thing, but more of a regular and
more regular thing. I would say, I think the regular wearing of masks only occurs both in South Korea and Japan, because when I was in the Philippines, it also wasn't a thing for us to wear a mask, no matter how polluted Manila is, sadly. And actually, I'm a very asthmatic person.
That you are, yeah.
On the contrary, I am a very asthmatic person, but because it's not a culture in the Philippines to wear a mask, we just try to survive in the polluted city without wearing a mask.
Just suffocate.
Exactly. But I have to say though, when I moved here in Hokkaido, my asthma disappeared.
Oh, okay.
It's probably because the air is fresher, and at that time I lived in the countryside where there was not a lot of vehicles and not a lot of pollution going on. That's why my asthma disappeared. But wearing a mask here in East Asia is quite more common than we have there in Southeast Asia.
Right.
And people like foreigners or immigrants who come here have learned to live by that kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also want to give emphasis to what you said. In my opinion, I think it is better to wear a mask, especially on these times, because like recently I got sick, like I had colds and fever, and to protect people around me when I go outside.
Exactly.
I think it's better for me to wear a mask, especially that, in a non-ventilated area such as buses and trains.
Yeah.
It's easier for people to get, to get the colds or to get sick because people standing beside them just got sick a few days ago.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that, like, I completely, like, totally agree. And that's the thing that some people don't always realize, is that it's not, and it goes the same, with the fact that we have to stay home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not just to protect yourself; it's to protect people around you, right?
Yeah.
And people kind of forget that. It's like, you might be okay, you might be safe, maybe you don't get sick very easily, but you could still be a carrier, even though you may not have the symptoms, and even though it might not affect you, you could still be a carrier, and you don't want to spread that to other people, right?
Exactly. Now I'm going to show you some of the masks that I made.
And you made yourself.
I made it myself.
Wow.
Okay, so this is the first mask that I made.
Okay.
This is made from cloth, and this is the back part.
Okay.
And there is a sleeve for a filter.
So you can put even a filter in it. Okay, that's really good.
So I don't know what filter you can use. Some people use like a paper towel.
Okay.
And some people even use coffee filters. Okay. I don't know how that works.
I don't know if that really does anything, but okay.
And then there's a wire inside. I got the wire from the disposable mask that I used previously.
Okay.
All right. So this is totally washable. I wouldn't recommend washing machine. You do it by hand wash. So what I usually do is, after using this, you just put laundry detergent on this part, and then you, what do you call that? You
scrub.
Rinse it. Yeah, scrub it a little bit, not too much. Just make sure you scrub the inner part, so the germs would go out, and then you leave it in a basin with water and soap for 20 minutes, and then after that you rinse it, and then you dry it overnight.
And then just hang it to dry.
Yeah, you hang it to dry.
All right.
Now, the good thing about the wire is it keeps your, I don't know, it keeps the mask close to
you can pinch
your nose.
Yeah, you can pinch it around your nose.
Yeah, and can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, and then I kind of pinch the wire part so it will.
Nice. So now, for those listening to us and not seeing the video, Jenny put on the mask that she made herself, and she looks like a ninja.
Yeah, I do look like a ninja. What I like about this is that because I'm asthmatic, I'm very allergic to anything that, what do you call it, that absorbs.
Okay.
I have to say, this is much better than the disposable mask, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because when I'm using the disposable mask, especially in winter, I tend to have more colds.
Okay.
I sneeze, and then I get a runny nose after a few hours, and that's it. Oh. But when I wear a cloth material mask, I feel much better. I can breathe better.
Okay.
And like the laundry detergent doesn't smell that strong. I mean, well, I wash it properly. And yeah, I don't I don't get to have colds, and yeah, I feel much comfortable with a cloth. Well, that's for me personally.
Right.
And here's another version of my mask.
Okay, so version. So this one opens up in the middle a little bit. Yeah,
and then it's quite longer, but the filter, what do you call that? The filter part.
Yeah.
The filter pack is.
Right. So like it's slightly open in the middle, so you can sliding a filter in it, right?
Yeah. And then the back is the same with the front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the back is the same with the front. But this is quite difficult for me to make. The tutorial is a bit more difficult.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of a folding and things like that to do.
Yeah. And you can get tutorials. You will give you links of the tutorials. We got it on YouTube. And
right, so I'm not gonna show the videos right now during the show because no, copyright issues and stuff like that. But I will share the links in the description.
Exactly. And to give you an idea, it's really time consuming if you're not using a sewing machine.
Okay. You did those by hand?
I did these by hand.
Wow.
And one mask took me 3 hours to make.
3 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good way to kill time, right?
Yeah. I usually start after lunch, and then I end up around 5 or 6, depending on the time I started.
Okay.
And it makes me feel good as well because I made these by hand, and I'm like, wow, I can sew. I can't believe it.
That's
and I like
good.
it. I like it because it saves you money because you don't have to buy.
It really
right?
does, especially now because finding the proper masks, disposable ones, is getting more and more difficult, right? Because
of the demand,
right? Because of the demand, and the stocks are kind of getting lower and lower. And because of that, it becomes very expensive. Like we were looking at it on Amazon like a few weeks ago, right? And like just a pack of 100 can be like so expensive.
Exactly. And here in Japan, we almost have no stock. Like every day I go to convenience stores, I go to drugstores. There's no way I can ever find one, especially that I'm here in the city. And my fiance had to go to central Hokkaido just to buy me one pack of mask. And a regular pack of mask is around 5 to 7 pieces of disposable mask. And you can use that for only a week, or even depending on the times you go outside, especially when you work.
Exactly. Yeah, because like again, you can't wear a mask for like hours and hours, and like not like you have to change it once in a while, right? That's the thing. So having the opportunity to make your own, it's like, first of all, it keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Which is the point of the episode. And but it saves you a lot of money, right? And you can do it with like any kind of cloth, right? Basically.
Exactly. You can use a shirt, you can use your skirt, or some people even try to use their socks.
Okay.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but like let's say you have some shirts or like some like things like that you don't want to wear anymore, or that are ripped or like discarded, whatever. For whatever reason, you don't want to wear them anymore. Instead of throwing them away, you can actually reuse that to make that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. You can even use old handkerchiefs. And anything that is made of cloth, or anything that would block tiny molecules that could enter your nose or your throat for you to get sick or whatever. And of course, try to wash it first and keep it dry before you make them.
Right. And wash it regularly after using them. Basically, after you use it, just wash it right away.
Yeah, you have to wash it right away. You can't reuse them in 2 days. Like once you go home, after going outside, after using the mask, you immediately wash them.
You need to wash it,
yeah. And the tutorial that we're going to share to you, the links that we're going to share, you have already provided the materials that you're going to use.
Okay.
So there are a lot of ways for you to make a mask, and it saves you money. It's cheap to make one. And it provides you time, especially when you're stuck here at home.
It gives you something to do. So you've made like several kinds of design. You showed us 2 here on the show. We will share pictures on social media, Facebook, Instagram, of the other designs that you've made. So people can have an idea, and also people can realize that it's although it can be time consuming, like it's really accessible to anybody, right? Anybody can do it, and anybody can do it right, make it look good, and make it functional. So that's really good.
Yeah. Now let's go to number 3.
All right. What else can we do to keep busy?
Okay, you can learn an easy Japanese recipe.
You can learn how to cook.
Oh yeah.
And I know a few people who need that.
Who need that? Wow.
And I know.
Are you one of them?
No. I'm actually a pretty good cook, you know? Like,
oh really?
I have a pretty good reputation on the stuff I cook. The only thing is that because I live mostly by myself, aside from the times when Amber is here, I don't really cook because I don't like cooking for myself. I actually really enjoy cooking for other people.
Me too.
So I don't want to brag or anything, but I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty good. I'm terrible at baking. I cannot bake for the life of me. Like, I can't make cakes or anything like that. Desserts and stuff, that's not for me. But like actual really cooking, like I'm really good at it. Yeah. But
that's great.
That's why I'm saying like I know a few people who like would need some lessons about cooking. Although for some of them I would be scared to even have them try that because we might need some fire extinguishers.
Okay, what I can recommend to you guys is a website called Just One Cookbook. Now you can find this on YouTube and in their official website. So that's www.justonecookbook.com. All right.
Yeah.
So this is owned by a Japanese who is actually immigrating. I think is in Canada. I think she is in Canada.
Is in Canada? I don't know.
I think she is. So she has this website, and once you open the website, oh no, she's not in Canada. Sorry, she's in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so if you go to her website and you instantly see all the nice, delicious looking photos of Japanese foods you can make, and these are in English, so no worries. So this website is by Nami, a Japanese home cook based in San Francisco, and she currently had made over 700 recipes alone.
That's a lot.
In her website. And not just that, the good thing about this is it's easy. It's an easier version. And she also uses ingredients that you can find in the States, and probably the ingredients she finds at the Asian stores. Most probably it would also be available in Canada. And if you are in Southeast Asia, it would even be easier for you to find Japanese ingredients.
That's really cool. You know, Japanese food is one of the things that I've actually never tried cooking. I did.
Oh, okay.
I did try to make sushi only once.
How was it?
It was pretty good. I was pretty proud of myself. But making sushi is so much work. It's actually so much work to make sushi because you have to have the proper rice, you have to cook it the proper way, you have to aerate it, you have to like put the vinegar and stuff, and then the whole chopping the ingredients, the whole rolling thing. Like it's so much work. It took me like hours. It was worth.
Oh wow!
It was worth it, but I would not do it again. I would not do it again. I would not recommend. Fun. It's fun. Like when you're doing it with like other people, it can be kind of fun. But aside from that, I have never really cooked Japanese stuff. I've cooked like different kinds of cuisines. Of obviously European stuff. I've cooked a lot of Indian things. But I've never tried Japanese. So I'd actually be really curious to try some of those recipes.
You have to try them because one, they're healthy. Number two, they're not too fat. You know what I mean?
That's the thing about Japanese food, right? Japanese food is pretty healthy and not really fatty. I mean, I was like, I guess it depends on what you're talking about, but for the most part, it's pretty healthy food.
Well, not fatty in a way that they don't use a lot of oil.
Right.
They don't use too much carbohydrates. Most of the ingredients are fresh.
Right.
And that's what I mean by healthy.
That's pretty good.
And also, if you check the website, they also have 26 stay-at-home Japanese recipes, which is just right. especially at these times.
Right. It really is. It's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and there are several interesting recipes that you can make, such as Japanese style pasta with shrimp and broccolini.
It's
So,
like small versions of
what is that?
broccoli. Broccolini is like a.
Oh, I know that.
It's like a baby version of broccoli.
But again, if you don't have that ingredient, you can just substitute it with broccoli, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Or cauliflower, maybe. Yeah.
But
you know,
cauliflower
yeah.
might change the flavor. But I really like broccoli. It's weird, but I really like it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, making Japanese food is quite difficult for me personally.
Is it?
But
Why?
I tried. I think it's because of the manner how to cook things.
Oh, okay.
And especially when they're baking cake. Like Japanese cakes are really, I don't know, they take a lot of careful instructions. Like, you know, if you're whisking something, you need to put them under a bowl of ice with water,
Okay.
or you need to make the butter melt a little bit on room temperature. I mean,
like everything,
you know,
has to be
these
like,
kinds of things. Yeah,
everything has to be like super precise.
Exactly.
Which is one of the reasons why I suck at baking, because everything has to be so precise, even for basic baking, right? Like when you measure like your baking soda and flour and all that stuff that you use for baking, like, you know, if it says like 1 teaspoon of baking soda, you need to use 1 teaspoon of baking soda. If you use like 2 or 3 of them, it's not gonna work the same. And that's why I'm so bad at it, because I'm really bad at following recipes. Which is why I'm pretty good at cooking, because I do everything by by the taste and the smell and the look of it.
Wow.
Whereas for baking, you can't do that. Baking, you really have to follow the procedure and the recipe for it, or else it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, right? That's true. But yeah, the good thing about this Just One cookbook is that it wouldn't really intimidate you, because it has, you know, it really has easy steps for you to follow, and they're very exciting too, because you get to learn a recipe that is Japanese.
It's really fun. You get to learn something new, and you get to spend a bit of time on that. You get to try some new food that maybe you didn't know about.
That's right.
It's really cool. And again, it's something you can do with your kids if you have kids.
Exactly.
Right?
Now let's go to number 4.
All right. So after cooking, what can we do once we're done cooking and eating?
Or if we're waiting for our food to cook, we can read manga online.
We can read manga. So this is very, very Japanese, obviously.
Very Japanese, exactly.
So for those watching us or listening to us who maybe are not super familiar with Japanese culture, manga is basically the Japanese version of comic books.
Exactly. Yeah. There are, you know, like in Japan, there are over 10,000 Japanese comics published in history.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's like manga in Japan is a whole, like, it's a whole culture, and it's part of Japan. When you look at comic books here in North America, well, you usually think of your typical things like Marvel and DC and all those stuff. And comic books are really big here in North America. You know, it's something that people enjoy a lot. A lot of movies are made out of them. But in Japan, the manga is just like, it's another level of that. Like, it's basically part of life, like, no matter what they do.
And the unique thing about manga in Japan is that anyone can read it, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are. It doesn't matter. Everybody reads manga.
And there is something, and that's one of the cool things about it too. Like, there is something for everybody. Right?
Yeah.
No matter what you're into, no matter what kind of style you want, like if you're more into romance, if you're more into action, if you're like more about, slices of life and stuff like, you'll find a manga, you'll find a series that is like just for you.
Exactly. To give you an example, I love fashion. I love bowling. I like, badminton, and there is every manga for those categories.
Yeah. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's really surprising for me because I was calling my Scottish friend a few weeks ago, and I was asking her what she's doing, and she's like, "Hey, I recently discovered a manga about divers." And she loves diving. And I'm like, that's so cool.
There's a manga about diving? That's funny.
Yeah.
They really
what?
They really make manga for everything.
Exactly. And there's even a manga for, characters who create comics, Like there's every category. There's
that's like that's like some Inception thing. There's a manga about someone drawing a manga.
Yeah, and it does. It does exist.
That's funny.
All right. Now, if you guys are interested in reading manga online but don't have the bucks to subscribe, you can just go to Manga Reader. And the website is www.manga, that's MANGA,
yep.
reader.net.
.net, yep. I will show this. Oops.
Now, if you check that website, there are the popular manga updates. So they always update the most popular manga.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that the most popular ones currently are One Punch Man. There's One Piece, Shingeki no Kyojin. So Shingeki no Kyojin is Attack on Titan. Is that Attack on Titan?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you scroll, if you scroll down, there's also a list of the latest manga updates.
Right.
And it's just countless.
There's so many. It just keeps going and going. And on top of that, is there? Yeah, and there's a search bar. So like, if it's not listed there, just type it in. You can probably find it.
Oh wait, Florent, I'm seeing one category you might be interested in.
Oh no, which one?
I see a hentai games over there.
All right, I was ready to click on something. I might not click on that.
It says there hentai games, and there's a hot. It's hot.
It's super hot. I might check this. I will check this out after the show.
I knew it. I have a question for you.
I know a few people who might be interested too.
Ooh, I wonder who that is. Yep. Do I know this person?
I don't think
Probably
so.
Not.
I don't think so. I know a couple of our regular viewers might enjoy that.
Ooh, hot.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you, Florian.
Okay, what's the question?
What's your favorite manga?
What's my favorite manga?
Or anime?
Oh, that's two different things. Two very different things.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I haven't actually really read any manga in a long time. The last manga I actually read and follow was Evangelion.
200 years ago. Okay.
More like 45 years ago.
Evangelion. Okay.
So it was the Evangelion manga. It was the manga adaptation of the anime, right? What I enjoyed about that manga is that it was made by the director of the show. And so there are some differences because he made the manga in the way he really wanted to tell the story, whereas for the anime, it was obviously more restricted by the publisher and by what they could do with animation. So that was the last manga I read. That was quite a few years ago.
Wow.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite manga though. I enjoyed it and I bought all of them. There were like 13 of them, at least here.
Oh wow.
Here in North America, they made like 13 volumes of them. I only got them because I'm a really big fan of the anime. The anime is one of my favorite anime. But for my favorite manga, I think I'll have to go way back, and I'm talking way back in early to mid 90s.
Wow.
Right? And it's more of an author, it's more of a mangaka that I'm more fan of, more than an actual precise manga. I'm a big fan of Masamune Shirow. Masamune Shirow is the guy who created Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He's the original guy who made Ghost in the Shell. And Ghost in the Shell was kind of my introduction to manga.
Ooh.
And Ghost in the Shell and every of Shiro's work, Appleseed, Orion, and things like that, lesser known manga from him, were basically what pushed me into drawing myself.
That's amazing.
When I started drawing and I started getting interested in drawing and I started kind of like fiddling with pencils and stuff. That was when reading that, and because Masamune Shirow has a style for the characters and for the backgrounds and a style of storytelling that is so deep, in my opinion, that I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do that kind of stuff. I want to be that good. And to this day, 20 years later, almost. Wait.
20 years later. Yeah, right.
Roughly. Like, I'm still not as good as he was back then. Like, I don't feel that I'm even close to being as good as he is. And so Ghost in the Shell, I would say Ghost in the Shell and Appleseed were like way up there in terms of my favorite manga. The other one would be a manga called Gun, which is known in North America as Battle Angel Alita. They made a movie.
Oh, okay.
Right? They made a movie out of that not too long ago. I still haven't seen the movie. I don't know, something bothers me about the movie, but that
okay.
That manga, I really connected with that manga as well. Same because of the style, because of how dynamic it was, the details in the art and the stories in the storytelling that I feel you don't find as much today.
Right.
I really connected with that, and I think it was like a series of 9 mangas, I think, back then.
Wow.
They might be able to find them like omnibuses and stuff like that now, but those I think were the 2 main ones that really stuck with me to this day. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, like they've been like huge inspirations for my own work, for my own artwork. Yeah.
I see.
What about you? What's your favorite manga?
Well, back in the day, I was a fan of Sailor Moon.
Okay.
But first, I got attracted to the anime because I found it really funny, and the characters are really pretty, and they're very fashionable.
Right.
I didn't really concentrate in the manga itself because in the Philippines during the 90s, manga was not really that available.
Right. It was the same. It was the same for us too back home in France. Like finding those manga that I was talking about earlier was really difficult. Like it was really hard to find in stores. And
exactly.
And it like manga really became more popular in the years after that. And I think a lot of us, especially people from our generation, right? Kind of got introduced to Japan and Japanese culture and manga and stuff through anime, right? Like you kind of connected with it because of Sailor Moon. I kind of connected because of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, everybody does,
right? because I'm a guy, so Dragon Ball was more enticing for me. If you're a girl, so Sailor Moon was better for you, and and it's same. Like I only read the Dragon Ball manga like years after actually watching the anime.
Well, I know that I had been a big fan of Sailor Moon because of the girly thingy or the girly story, but currently I'm reading this interesting manga called Kingdom. And in fact, it was Shingo who recommended me this manga because he said it was interesting. It was very full of action and somewhat gory, very very masculine and very cool, he says. And at first I didn't really pay attention to it, but when I did try to read it, I really love it. So you can read it online for free at kingdom-manga-online.com.
Okay. Again, we'll link that in the description.
Yeah. So if you check the website, there are already about 620 chapters for the manga. Yeah. And this has already been completed. There's also an anime version of this, but I haven't really watched the anime because I prefer the manga. To me, these days, reading the manga first is I don't know. For me, it's more exciting because it gives you more imagination, and you create your own voicers of the characters when you get to read it.
And a lot of the time, the manga version also kind of goes more in depth, right? Whereas,
exactly.
And again, maybe it's just me, but when I watch an anime version of a manga that I like, there's a lot of filler. There's a lot of downtime, and it's mostly because of the production process of an anime, right? It's not because the people making the anime are lazy or whatever. It's just because it takes a lot of time to make an episode, and a lot of those anime are made at the same time as the manga is being made. So sometimes they have the episode made before the chapter is actually ready, so they have to make those episodes where nothing happens, kind of thing. And that's kind of why I also like the manga version better, because first, usually it's more condensed and it's more in depth, and you can, I don't know, I feel it's easier to connect the characters.
Also, I have to tell you guys, if you're already able to read Japanese, you can also practice your Japanese by reading manga.
Right.
And if you're a beginner in reading Japanese, you can start by reading the Doraemon manga.
Okay.
So Doraemon is one of the most popular characters for kids in Japan. And I think some of our listeners know Doraemon. And Doraemon is an anime for kids, is what I mentioned a while ago. And the manga is very easy to learn Japanese from, because once you see the kanji in the, what do you call that? In the comic strip, in the
bubble,
speech bubble.
Right.
In the speech bubble, there are hiragana beside the difficult kanji.
Right. I remember that when I was learning Japanese in school. That's how it used to be too. Next to the kanji, or above or under, depending on which way you were actually reading them. You had the pronunciation in kanas on the side.
Exactly. And what I love about Doraemon is it's not just for kids, because it's also for people who want to practice their Japanese reading. And this is a slice of life as well, because the characters are students, they go to school, they eat, they go shopping, they travel to places, and they use the daily language or the daily phrases in the manga for you to practice. Right. So I think it's a good way. Yeah.
It's they make it really relatable, right? Kind of like it's something you can use in your everyday life, which is good.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. All right, like now that. Aside from reading manga, you can also make your own manga, right?
You can also make your own manga. You can learn how to make your own manga.
Yeah, like especially these times, if you're stuck at home, you have nothing to do and you want to learn how to draw, you can start by learning online.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I learned personally. That's how I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I never went to school to learn how to draw. Like, I just picked up a pencil and I kind of looked at all the stuff that I had at home, like the manga I had at home and the comic books and stuff. And that's kind of like, I started drawing by basically copying what I was watching. Right, a lot of us did.
Right. Yeah.
And then as I got older and internet got more easily accessible. I learned a lot of the stuff that I know today and that I'm using today every day when I'm drawing. I've learned from tutorials online. I've learned from videos. I've learned from watching people do that online. Like, I never went to school for it, and that's a great way to learn a new skill, whether it's drawing or something else. Drawing in this case, but like you can find that kind of information online, which is great.
Exactly. Now, one of the websites that you can find like the basic tutorials for a start is here at conceptartempire.com.
Yes.
Now, we're going to send you the exact link of that because the link is quite long.
Yeah. I'll put this in the description.
Yeah, but the main website you can get that from is conceptartempire.com. Right? And from the website that we are showing right now, there are 50 ways on how to practice or to learn the basic structures of anime characters. And if you scroll on the website,
hold on, I lost my website.
Yeah, so Florent is actually checking out the website, opening the link of the website.
I'm trying to I closed the wrong tab and now I lost it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, while he's doing that, when once you go to the website itself and you scroll down, there are several videos, actual videos for you to learn how to create a lot of variations. First, we get to learn the basic structures of the face.
Yeah.
And then there are 3 common art mistakes according to the video itself. And then there is also a manga anatomy quick tips for beginners.
Yep.
There's just basically a lot. You just scroll down and then there's a lot of videos for you to choose from. And you can just learn from this website alone, and it can give you hours and hours just to practice and watch the videos themselves.
It's really, really cool. So like manga is not really the kind of style that I do myself. Like those who know me and follow me on other channels know that, and I'm more of a comic book style, I guess, like somewhere between comic book and realistic kind of thing. At least that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know if I'm good at it, but
I like your art style though.
Thank you. Manga is not really a thing that I do, but that's how I started, right? Because again, I kind of started learning how to draw by looking at all those manga and the people that inspired me. So like me personally, that'd be something I'd be really interested in kind of like diving into, not necessarily to like change the style of what I'm doing now, but just to learn a new thing, right? Learn new techniques that maybe I can apply to what I'm already doing. That would be great.
Yeah. Well, for me, my style is anime.
Right.
And obviously I got my style from Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball. So
Yeah.
And a little bit of Street Fighter, and there's this game called Power Stone. I'm more
Power
into
Stone.
these kind of styles. Yeah.
I remember Power Stone. I wish they remade that. I wish they made a new one.
I know. But yeah, my art styles are based from Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, and Power Stone. I wouldn't say Street Fighter, it's more of Power Stone.
Okay.
Yeah. So Power Stone is one of Capcom's newest games back in the year 2000s.
It was a new concept of a game when it came out, right? Because it was a 3D arena fighter, but it was not like on the plane like most 3D fighters. You could actually move around and like jump and stuff and pick up power-ups and things. It was so much fun.
Right. Yeah. Now, if you guys are not into drawing manga or drawing at all, why don't you start learning how to make origami?
Origami might be fun.
Oh yeah.
Right. And again, something you can do with your kids.
Exactly. Well, if you don't have kids, you can actually make good origami as well. I mean, you don't have to be a kid, or you don't have to be young to do origami, right?
Of course. But like I'm thinking of all those parents who have their kids at home and don't know how to keep them busy, right? They can keep the kids busy while keeping themselves busy and like making some cool stuff, right?
Exactly. And you can do things together as well.
Exactly.
Right? So that's your number 5 and our last recommendations for you that you can do while you're stuck at home.
Yeah.
Now let's share some of the websites that we can get references from in making origami.
Yeah.
So the first one is the typical origami learning tutorial, which is supercoloring.com. Supercoloring.com. So that's www.supercoloring.com.
Yep.
And there's a longer link version of that, which we will also share on YouTube.
Yeah.
For you to check out. And there are several categories in that website. You got the coloring pages.
Yeah.
You got the drawing tutorials, paper crafts, puzzle games, and you also have calendars and holidays. Probably if you check on the, okay, I have to check the calendars and holidays. All right, so I opened the calendars and holidays, and there are several countries in here. Now I'm going to click on Japan.
Okay.
And they have printable calendar designs for 2020. Well, everything is for 2020. And it's not just me, but you can also do coloring.
Right. You can just like, let's see, we're in April, right? All right. So I'm gonna open the April page. Okay. So you can actually download that and print it out and then just color it.
Now go to the origami folding.
Okay.
So we went back to the origami paper folding. There are a lot of variations here for you to choose from.
Yeah.
Right, and
a lot.
I especially like the Pikachu. Did you see the Pikachu finger puppet?
That's so
origami tutorial.
Oh, here. Yeah, I see it. Let me click on it.
Yeah, I'll click on that.
That's funny.
So these are basically the same shapes, but you can just draw, different types faces from that.
Here are the pages. So you can So you can just like, again, just print it out so you have it on a piece of paper so you know how to fold it and stuff.
Exactly.
That's great.
And there's a lot of versions for you to choose from. Now, if you're an adult and you don't like these kids stuff, you can go to the hardcore version of origami.
The hardcore. Okay.
Yeah, and this really takes time. And if you are into D&D, if you are into creating monsters or dragons, this is the website for you. So that's origami.me.
Yeah, origami.me.
Right?
This one is that's next level stuff.
Exactly. So this is literally a hardcore version, because if you check the website and you scroll down, there are these really difficult levels on how to fold these. Yeah, here you can find mind-blowing dinosaur skeletons folded out of paper. There are dragons, there are flowers, there are safari animals.
You can make Pokemon stuff.
Oh yeah, there's an origami Pokemon. Gotta fold them all. Gotta fold them all.
This is crazy. Look at those. Wow, this is really cool. Oh, that Charmander is insane. Oh, it's a Charizard. I don't know the Pokemon. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Hold on.
There's a Bulbasaur.
There's Bulbasaur, there's Squirtle. Blastoise.
There's a
Pidgey.
Oh my god, just check them out.
There's so many. There's a Pikachu, obviously. Pikachu looks a bit weird, I think, but...
Well, I sadly have to tell you guys, not all of these have the tutorial versions of that, but there are some. And, yeah, if you check out the categories on the top, right, so new origami, you can click on that, start here, and the paper guide, there are instructions.
Right.
And also,
yeah.
Do a lot.
Hold on. You were cutting out a little bit there. Okay. Yeah, it gives you like the basics of how to make origami too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. By the way, Florent, I also made my own version.
You did?
Yeah. Okay, so and there are several books of origami for you to choose from. Okay. You can get them at 100 yen stores like Daiso or Seria. So I got this one from... Is this from Daiso? Yes, it's from Daiso. Okay. So this is a brand, and I love cats. So this is Neko Origami. So Neko means cat.
Neko is yeah.
And there are these several designs for you to choose from.
Nice.
These are for kids, but I like it.
There's a Siamese cat in the cover. It's like my cat.
Yeah, I like Siamese cats too. And so from here, yeah, it's Japanese, but it's very easy to learn because when you, so here are the samples. Yeah, this is the folding instructions. You don't need to understand Japanese just to learn them.
Right, because there's diagrams. It's cool. Yeah,
this is the easy patterns for you to make, and this is the finished product.
So like, so it's already on the page, so you just like detach that and then just fold it, and the pattern is already there, and it's gonna look good. And stuff. Wow.
Yeah. So on the right part, there is the the actual origami page for you to cut. All right. And then on the left part of that page is the photo of the finished design.
Right.
And then on the lower part, there's also a page where to get the instructions. So for this one, this is from page 24. So I'm going to page 24 and you can find the instructions.
Okay.
On page 24.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I chose this face of a cat origami and instructions on page 26. So I will go to page 26. And this is how you fold them. It's very easy. And this is the finished product.
And you made a cat.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
What I like about this is it's also a letter. It's a letter version. So if you unfold it,
you can like write your secrets in it.
Yeah, the code of whatever, this top secret code, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, what I like about this origami is that I don't really keep it. When I write letters to my friends, yeah, I'm very old-fashioned. I like handwritten letters. I make my own origami and then I send them.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like it because it's cute. It's a good remembrance, and since I am in Japan, it makes them feel like, hey, my friend's from Japan, right, living in Japan right now, and she gave me this origami. It totally reminds her of Japan.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. How about you, Florent? Are you interested in making origami?
Yeah, I would actually. There's some really cool things you can do. I don't know if I would have the skills to do it. But dude, that would be a great stuff to do. Like I like things like building Legos and puzzles and stuff like that. So origami would be actually pretty cool. I think I would enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also a good pastime because you get to learn how to fold things. That is not a paper plane and a paper boat. You know what I mean?
That's literally the only things I can do when folding paper, just planes and boats. Literally.
What I like about Japanese origami is it doesn't come in plain paper. You can be as creative as you are.
Right. You can buy
as you can be.
You can buy paper with like patterns and stuff like that, like decorations and things.
Yeah, and you can even make your own pattern, right?
That's true.
You can be creative and you can make your own pattern.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might try that. You know?
Well, if you're going to try to make an origami, what kind of origami do you like to make?
I'd probably start with something simple.
Such as?
Okay, so I'm back on the super coloring website there, so I can look at that. I kind of like the Pikachu finger thingies.
Yeah, it's cute. I like it too.
Those don't look too hard. There's some cats there. I like cats, so I might do that. Oh, there's some pandas. Maybe I could do a panda.
I like the butterfly. It's very interesting.
Butterflies. Okay.
And have you seen the shark? I also like the origami shark. Did you see it?
Oh, the shark. Yeah. I see it. The shark with the heart.
Yeah, the shark with a heart.
Let me click on it.
It's kind of cool. I like it.
Nice. I like that too.
Right?
It's cute.
In fact, origami is very, very creative. You can make a lot from origami. You can make a basket from it. You can make a box. You can make a jewelry box.
Yeah.
You can make a, I don't know, you can just be creative with origami. And there are so many tutorials out there, whether in website forms, or even in YouTube. You can be very creative and you can be very resourceful online. And the fact that most of the things available these days, especially during the time we are stuck here at home, the most available we can have is the internet, and let's be very creative in using it.
Exactly. That's a huge resource, and you can find so many things for free as well.
Yeah.
Which is great. And it's a good opportunity to, since we're stuck at home, to learn new things, right?
Exactly.
Like this is what I enjoy the most about having to stay home right now, is that especially when I'm looking at the stuff I do with my art, I've spent the last 3 days literally learning a whole new technique in drawing something in particular that I had never used before. Like I spent all night last night trying to figure out how that tool, whatever that I was using, works. And now that I have a concept of how it works, I'm thinking of all those things I can do with it. And that's really something you can do with whatever it is, be it making your own clothes, like making your own masks, learning how to draw, or learning how to draw better if you already draw, the whole origami thing, learning how to cook, Japanese things. Like it's learning all those new skills that can be fun, that can be entertaining. You're going to spend some time doing that, and you can reuse that throughout your life too, right?
Exactly. And this is not just an individual project. You can do this with a lot of people as well, because, like there are several ways to be interactive while staying at home and doing these things. Because like, say, for example, if you're learning a language, you can join a group on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter.
Exactly.
And talk about the new words that you learned together. And then you can go with just one cookbook. And once you finish a recipe, you can take a photo of that on Instagram and share it on Instagram and join a group where people can talk about Japanese food. It's the same thing about, reading a manga. And if you want to talk about your favorite manga online and share them to a group, you just click on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and you can do the same thing with origami and drawing stuff.
This is great. You can just discover new communities, people with the same interests as you, or like people that are just like at the same level as you, still learning, kind of like discovering new things.
Exactly.
It's not because you have to stay at home that you're basically stuck here. Like we've been using the word stuck at home a bit. Like while you're physically stuck at home, you have so many things you can do and so many ways to enjoy yourselves that like you just have to kind of can start looking at those things, and hopefully we've helped some of you guys kind of discover some of the things you can do. There are many more that we didn't cover here because we don't have all the time in the world to do it. But yeah, it's very good.
All right, and that's all for our episode today.
That is it, indeed.
Yeah, and I have a question for you, Florent.
All right, what's the question?
Now that we have talked about all these things, what do you find interesting, and what do you plan to start among the suggestions that we talked about today?
What do I plan to start? So I really want to look at that whole cooking thing.
Ooh, the Just One Cookbook. Okay.
The Just One Cookbook, because again, I've never really tried making Japanese food before, because I never had the opportunity, and Japanese cuisine feels a little intimidating.
It is.
So I'd be curious to look into it more and maybe try it out myself. And I think the other thing, I think I might try some origami stuff.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I might try some origami stuff. I think that would be a good pastime, Yeah.
For me, I'd like to try the e-learning.
Okay.
I mean, I'm already learning a lot, such as Puni Puni, Japan, and the wanikani.
Right.
But I really find this interesting because it's a 6-month course and it has a pattern, and it's a good thing for me to practice my Japanese and to improve.
Right. You can practice and and improve and kind of like build on those bases and everything you've learned so far already.
Exactly. And I'm also interested in finding out a new manga online.
Okay. Finding a new series to read.
Exactly. Something that I'm not really familiar of.
Okay.
Something that is not that popular, you know what I mean? I mean, because I'm not the kind of person who loves to follow the trend. I just like whatever interests me on the spot. Yeah, and I'm really happy that we discovered the manga reader. Yeah. I really like that.
This is really cool. Like so many things, so many resources are just right there that
exactly
that we didn't that I personally didn't know about until we started doing the research for the show.
Okay, that's all for today, guys. But before we end, I have one question for you. What do you do to keep busy during these times?
Yes. How do you occupy your time, right? We have to stay home. It's recommended to stay home. What do you do to keep busy? We've given some ideas of stuff you can do. We've kind of talked about some stuff that we do. But what do you guys do? Just talk to us in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Talk to us on Facebook. Talk to us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us all the way on those social media websites. That's what it's called, right? And yeah, talk to us. Tell us what you like doing. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
All right.
That's it for our episode today. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Those who are on YouTube, thank you for listening. If you're on Google Play, iTunes, or Spotify, don't hesitate to give us a follow, subscribe, ring the bell, share, talk about it to your friends, or all those things that you do on social media. Those are really difficult times for everybody.
Yeah.
It might last for quite a while until we're really back to normal. So use your time, learn new things, practice things you already know. Yeah, stay safe, stay home as much as you can, and yeah, just enjoy yourselves.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the most important thing. Enjoy your time.
Enjoy yourselves. Use that time that you have, because take that time as an opportunity, not as a punishment. You can do
exactly.
You can do so many things for yourselves and for people around you. It can be a good thing. Use that time. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Jenny, for being here with us again today.
Thank you, Florent.
And we will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.